So I was watching Beaver's geography video on places that need interstates, and the list was bad. Nothing personally against him, it's just that the problem is that nearly all the interstates mentioned in his video would not be utilized. In other words, they're mostly pointless, and they're really just... So that's why I decided to make my own list, with the interstates that are going to be the most beneficial to the US. These are either picked out from personal experience traveling on these roads, or what the YouTube comments have to say about it. You may note that the majority of these already follow a pre-existing route that already has a two-lane highway, so when I say this route needs an interstate, I mean the route needs proper exits and bypass towns instead of going through them. With that, let's begin. Let's start with the one Beaver Geography mentioned in his video. An interstate connecting Colorado Springs to Amarillo. Now I agree on this, but if this interstate is ever going to happen, then it needs to extend from Amarillo to the Dallas-Fort Worth area following US 287. The reason being is that no one's driving between Colorado Springs to Amarillo. They're driving from Denver to Dallas. So if the need is a connection between Denver and Dallas, what if instead we bypass Amarillo and Wichita Falls? Which is why I propose a suggestion to have an interstate that connects Colorado Springs to Oklahoma City. This way, people can connect only to the eastern part of Texas well. It also connects Oklahoma City to Colorado. It also connects some decent-sized towns like Woodward and La Junta. Now, there are a couple of problems here. One, there will be a lot of new road that needs to be paved through these areas, and a lot of it is going through farmland, which the farmers will not be too happy about. And two, since we have a lot more paved road compared to the Colorado Springs to Amarillo route, it's going to be a lot more expensive than the Colorado Springs to Amarillo route. But it is agreed upon that there needs to be an interstate between the I-25 corridor and the Texas Triangle. Our next route is going to be in Mississippi. My original idea was to have an interstate between Jackson to Mobile following US 49 to Hattiesburg and US 98 to Mobile. However, a problem is the utilization of a section of it, mainly the section between Hattiesburg to the Alabama border on US 98. It is already a two-lane highway, and compared to the other areas, it is way less congested. So a more practical route instead is the continuing following US 49 down to the Gulfport area. For this route, it allows a direct connection to the beachside cities and is a faster connection for those going to Alabama and into Florida. But you tell me which route might be more practical. An honorable mention for this region is maybe having an interstate between Meridian and Montgomery, possibly beyond to Columbus, Macon, and up to Augusta. Now, I'm not sure how utilized this will be, which is why this is only an honorable mention, but I did want to throw it out as a suggestion. The next one is highly requested from the YouTube comments, and that is continuing Interstate 11 down to Kingsman following US 93. Reason being that there is a lot of traffic on this road, which is why Nevada built a new interstate on their end up to the Hoover Dam, but it needs to extend down to Kingsman to be fully practical. There is also talks of it extending it down to Phoenix, but personally I don't think that is needed as it's only going to be utilized from people from Phoenix and Tucson that are going directly to Las Vegas. But it is an idea that I want to throw out there. The last one will be out in Oregon, with an interstate connecting Albany to Bend following US 20. Reasons being is that Bend is the fastest growing place in Oregon and one of the fastest in the US. It is also to say that it's furthest away from an interstate that has over 100,000 people. So sooner or later, an interstate, or at the very least more connections, will be placed sooner or later to the I-5 corridor regardless if it's an interstate or not. Perhaps a more practical one is a direct connection from Bend to Eugene. Of course, there are some problems with this. Like the other one between Colorado Springs and Oklahoma City, this is going to be costly, maybe more since it's going through a lot of mountains. That leads to the other problem. These aren't just any mountains, this is going through a national forest, which will be unpopular with both the locals and on a national level. And since this is government-controlled land, there will be some political tension if it were to go through. So realistically, an interstate following US 20 is more likely to happen, while this route is more the ideal route. And with that, we are done here. Thank you for watching and have a good day, everybody.